Have you heard the story of the ghost horse of Abingdon, Virginia? The one that was so loyal to its owner that it still waits for him after death? James B. Wyatt, right here, was the owner of this horse. And James was a cavalry soldier for the Union that rode with General George Stokman. Well, this group of soldiers was known for raiding and burning down places. And when they got to Abingdon, they decided that they weren't really going to do much damage because this place was so kind to them. Their citizens were very nice, were very loyal, was very helpful, and they also had family there. And some of these soldiers were actually from Abingdon themselves. Well, old James here had other plans for Abingdon because when he spent time in Abingdon, he did not have a good time at all. See, James had had some problems going up, and there's two different versions that I've read and I've heard myself about what the problem was that James had with Abingdon, Virginia. One of them said that while he was locked up in the courthouse, he was mistreated, very much so, and then he loathed the town after that and left. But the second story came down to legal matters. It said that James had a falling out with Noble McGinnis, and Noble McGinnis owned a lot of businesses in town. Actually, he owned just about a zigzag of every building on this street. Well, on December 15th of 1864, James went up to the courthouse and he had a torch and he tossed the Joker in and he set fire to the courthouse, burning it down to the ground. Then he walked out and he did a zigzag of each of those buildings that Noble McGinnis owned, and he burnt them down too. He got a little ways down the road when the Confederate soldiers spotted him and his torch, and they were not very happy. So James hopped on his horse and took off down the road with the cavalry hot on his heels, and they were at him. Well, as he hit the corner and was going taking another road, one of the got him, and James B. Wyatt lost his life that night. But his horse rode on. Now his horse is said to haunt this area, and my oh my, are there eyewitnesses. This horse has been seen and heard running down Main Street, and not only Main Street, it goes all the way to the Martha Washington Inn on their grass and it grazes. There have been many phone calls to the Abingdon, Virginia Police Department about a random horse running down the middle of Main Street or running down the road or standing out underneath the intersection, just standing there. And then it just disappears. One major eyewitness account happened when a man called the police department and said, "Hey, we got a horse down here on Main Street. I can't catch it. It's standing there. It's going to get hurt. We need to figure out who owns it and what to do with it." And a police officer said, "Well, I'll be down there in just a few." The police officer got there, and when he got there, by this time, this horse had made it on to the Barter Green by the Martha Washington Inn, and it was just standing there. And it was in full Union tack for the horse. And they watched this horse just disappear in front of their eyes. If you ever find yourself in Abingdon, Virginia, and you're right outside the courthouse, or maybe you're walking down the road looking at all the beautiful historic buildings that are still there, you listen closely. Maybe you could still hear the hooves of that horse hitting the cobblestone as it's running down the road looking for James B. Wyatt. If you enjoyed this story, you know what to do. And y'all don't forget to follow me for more paranormal stories.